Well, we always like to talk to organizations that represent some of the best America has to offer. And we've got Rick Blitzer with us, Nation of Patriots, celebrating an anniversary.
You betcha.
So talk about this, 15 years, huh?
15 years. Our founder, who I hope will join us here shortly, actually started this because he saw his friends coming home wounded, hurt, both physically and mentally, families starting to suffer, money needs not being met. And he decided to do something about it. And he started going on his motorcycle, soliciting funds, which he gave directly to the veterans. I think what's interesting is this is truly a grassroots operation that started in the kitchen of this man's home.
Wow.
He's a young man. He is not a veteran. And the amazing thing is...
That doesn't preclude us from helping veterans.
Absolutely not.
Because I'm one of them, because I'm not a veteran, and I love doing everything we can to help the veterans.
Absolutely not. And I think the thing that people don't realize is whether you protest or you don't, whether you agree with the government or not, you have the right to do that because of the folks that are out there putting their lives on the line to protect our society.
You know, something it's interesting that you put it that way, Rick, because I've had some of the Patriot Guard riders on, or Patriot Rider Guards. I don't remember which way they say it, but they're the ones that go out there and stand right between protesters and some of the fallen.
Yes, I've been there.
And, you know, when I've talked to them about their organization, they've all said the same as what you just said, that they have gone to war or volunteered to go to war for the right of those people to be idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, they don't agree with those people, what those people are doing or their mission, but they have the right because of what these veterans have done.
Well, and the other thing, I'm going to throw this out. I don't know if it's so much the protection of the folks at the event or protection of the folks that are protesting, because some of these veterans you don't want to screw with.
Right.
These guys are some tough people who've been through some tough times, especially my generation Vietnam vets. I'm sorry.
Well, you get the protesters who are usually the pansies, I guess, in many instances. I'll say it. I don't mind.
Okay.
And, you know, you've got people like yourself who are trained to do things that none of the rest of us want to do.
Exactly.
Right.
And it never goes away.
Right.
I laugh because I see people who want to taunt older veterans.
That's not a smart thing to do.
I watched my dad. He was 55 or 60. We were in a restaurant in downtown San Diego, probably not the best part of town. And some guy tried to muscle him in the bathroom. And we heard this thump crash. We came around the corner and there's this guy laid out on the floor. And I looked at him and I just went, and the owner was really cool. He says, "Don't worry about it. This guy's always been a problem. Your dad handled it, obviously. See ya." I didn't know my dad had that in him.
Sure. Well, you know something, I had an uncle who's since passed, and it was the same thing. Is, you know, even in his 70s and 80s, you know, unfortunately, he still had some of the memories of things that took place and whatnot. So, you know, don't mess with people that have been trained, right? I mean,
you never forget.
We're gonna have a young lady, young by my standards, coming on the broadcast in a couple of weeks, and she's a world champion fighter, right? And I forget which wasn't mixed martial arts, but one of the fights. Don't mess with her.
Yeah,
right.
No.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She can, and you know, I'm smart enough to realize that, you know, she can hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the funny part is people take on folks like that having no idea what their background is.
Right. Oh, she's a model as well. So you know, you look at her and say, just a cute model. That's lethal.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
exactly.
Be careful. So 15 years. Tell us a little bit about the organization. What does the organization do?
Well, we raise money for the families of disabled and wounded veterans. And when you're a disabled vet or disabled anything, but especially a disabled vet, they get money from the VA or retirement. But the reality of it is that is not in par with what today costs. And suddenly you run into certain crisis like medical. How about tuition for your kids or books? Those are things that just aren't in the budget for some of these folks. And by the way, some of their disability makes it hard for them to find employment. So we step in and assist them maintain a normal life. And that's really what we're here for. We've paid medical, we've paid dental, we've paid tuitions, we've paid to get cars fixed because they couldn't get to work.
Wow. Well, you know, so when we come back, I want to chat with you a little bit about that because we did have somebody on, in the last, that must have been last week, something like that, who actually might have a job for every one of those veterans that you're talking about. Continue our conversation. Rick Blitzer, Nation of Patriots, is with us, chatting about their organization, some of the great things that they're doing to help some of our favorite people. And the ones, especially for somebody like me. Now, you may or may not agree with this, but when you think about it, I do a conservative radio show in an ultra liberal state. And if it wasn't for the men and women of our military and our veterans, could you imagine trying to do that and doing what I do in China or Russia? Wouldn't have a problem because they don't understand my language, but it's because of the men and women of the military that we get to do what we do. We have the freedoms that we have. And we have judges and some others that are idiots. Did you see what they've done with some of the politicians in New York City? I mean, where these thugs beat up the police officers and they're let out of jail before the police officers get out of the hospital. Unbelievable. But I digress. Let's chat about Nation of Patriots. And Josh, you have some pictures. Why don't you scroll pictures while we're talking with Rick? And we've got a bunch of shots here that Rick sent over to us. So you raise what is the methodology that you use for raising money for medical tuition, fixing cars?
Well, believe it or not, we have a Patriot tour which travels all 50 states on motorcycle, and we escort a flag. There's 4 purposes. Number 1, to raise money. We ask for $5 a rider per stop. That's it, $5.
Nice.
But when you figure that's a couple thousand people, probably pushing close to 5 figures that join in, that's quite a bit of money.
Sure.
Okay. Then you take on the fact that you have a lot of our places do fundraisers. We are supported by the American Legion, VFW. The Elks Lodges are huge.
Wow.
And Harley dealerships.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's also groups like the Patriots in Maine, the Patriots in Nevada that also support us. And they're there to help and provide expertise on the motorcycles. That's how we raise money. People get involved and they're very generous when they hear what it's for. And they hear that we are 100% volunteer. And our efforts are 100% of the donations we receive go directly to the families in need that we service.
That's wonderful. Well, and you've come out here to be on the broadcast with me a couple times.
Yeah.
You travel from Las Vegas to our studios here in Orange County, and we appreciate it. We don't pay anybody for those to come out here, and it's expensive. But we appreciate you coming out, and it's really nice looking at some of these pictures that are going across the screen. So when you get the riders, and you've got now. Is it people that are joining in and dropping off at various times?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not 2,000 bikes that are going across the country all to get one time.
We have 117 stops throughout all 50 states.
Okay.
And at those stops, we have a flag bearer, and the flag is transferred to a representative from that stop, who then takes it to the next stop. With that, there's a little bit of a ceremony. It's formal, especially for somebody on a motorcycle, but it states the honor and the responsibility of that flag, because people have forgotten what the flag stands for. It stands for all of us,
right?
Left, right, middle, upside down. I don't care. It stands for all of us, and
even idiots like Colin Kaepernick.
What's
That's
that?
my opinion.
What's that?
I said even idiots like Colin Kaepernick, but that's just my opinion. Not putting words in your mouth, Rick.
No, I heard that. Anyway, bottom line to it is so respect for the flag,
Sure.
raise money for the veterans, share a little family patriotic time. Now we also have fun, but at the same time,
We should have fun.
yeah, we talk about the challenges and we educate the folks about what our folks are faced with. And it's a wonderful program. What's really interesting, we are in all 50 states and we have volunteers in all states. Nobody asks for a dime.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Well, you know something, and some of the things that you're doing out there and helping folks, um, you know, you look at there's so many different organizations, and I'm a big believer in a charity navigator, and there is you can go out and make sure that the charities that you're wanting to align with that they follow through on their missions. When you talk about 100% donation, I mean that's about you can't get any better than that,
No,
right? I mean
it's something that our founder, when you look at his first ride and the lessons he learned, our traditional foundation is based on the lessons he learned and experienced while that first ride.
yeah, that's great stuff right there. One of the things I do want to make a comment about, though, because I've had some folks talk to me that they look at some organizations where the leadership makes a lot of money. And again, I'm going to throw out there, go to Charity Navigator and see, because if you're an organization, and the one that comes to mind I just heard the other day was Wounded Warriors, and somebody made a comment that the leadership makes like $900,000 a year. How many millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars are they raising? Right. And you're not going to get that done on a full-time basis from somebody that's exceptional. They've got to make money too. They've got to feed their family as well. So if they stay under the requirements of a great number from Charity Navigator, then something by all means, there's a lot of need out there. There's a lot of veterans out there, and you look at all these different organizations. The more, the merrier.
Oh,
right?
Here's the thing: if you're a charity organization and you're taking money out to do other things, how much do you really give to the other veterans? We hold the Platinum Award with Charity Navigator.
See that? There you go.
And they approached us. I think they show us doing 3% administrative costs, which may be true, may not be. I'm not sure. But I can tell you that I look these things up.
Sure.
And the only reason why I do this charitable work is because it's a true charity in the spirit,
from the heart.
In the spirit, yeah. They don't reach into their wallets; they reach into their heart when they donate to us.
Yeah. When you think about it, I mean, if you're going across country on a Harley Davidson, it might be fun, but you've got a mission in mind, and the people that are learning that are you got to get the message out to people also. So there's going to be some cost no matter what you do, right? How is the person that needs medical assistance going to find out about you?
That's our number one challenge.
People finding out about you.
Yep.
Okay. So, and there you have it. So you need to make sure and continue sharing the mission, and you've got a bigger problem from what I've seen is that you've got veterans, and veterans are notorious for never asking for help.
You're right.
They'll help their brother, their sister, but boy, I'm not the one that needs help. It's it's Rick that needs help, right? So you got to get that message out to somebody who can bring the next guy along.
I think probably one of the best stories, especially, and it happened here in California.
Wait a second, hold that story. We're going to get to the best story when we come back. Let's see if we can bring in Bill Shear. He's a boss man.
Founder, he's the man. This is an amazing, to me, young man.
Okay.
He's married to very nice wife, 2 kids. Just a great guy, and he's the one that started all this.
Bill, can you hear us?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Magic of technology. Glad to have you with us. So you're the visionary of Nation of Patriots.
Some say that, yeah. I credit to a lot of people, not just me.
So tell us what got I had a Marine come on my show one time, and he told me the story of of a little girl actually that smacked him in the head, not literally but figuratively, and started an organization called Solutions for Change. Tell us the story of how'd you come up with this idea? What was the impetus?
A really long story short. Back in 2006, 2007, I had a lot of friends who were in the service, some very close to me. Many went overseas, dropped out of college, went overseas to where the wars over there were really raging. My life as a citizen of the United States went on. I went through college, did my thing, graduated, and I saw a lot of these guys come back. They came back different people from when I had last seen them. And through stories heard from them about them, their lives, and their friends who also served, um, I realized that there was a whole community out there that did a whole lot of things more for this country than I ever had and probably ever would have. To see their pain, their sacrifice, and then to hear of others that were suffering even more after what they did. I don't know. It really resonated with me. I remember sitting down, wondering if I should join the service. What should I do with my life? And I decided at that point with my girlfriend, who's my wife now, that I would begin with starting a nonprofit, and we would just go out and raise money to try to help these people. And those people were families. The stories that we kept hearing were that it was the veteran in the family who was the breadwinner at one point, came home, was injured somehow mentally, physically, could not work, and their spouse was the one who was either trying to float a job, two jobs, and also take care of the veteran who was at home, not able to work. And they were falling through the cracks. I mean, the lines at the VA hospitals were too long. There was too much red tape, and these people were ending up on the street. And to be honest with you, it pissed me off, and that was enough to get me out of my chair to do something. And so we started a nonprofit, called it the Nation of Patriots, and we decided to go out, and instead of doing bake sales and little things locally, we wanted to go big, and we designed this thing called the Patriot Tour. And fast forward 15 years, and here we are.
Wow. It's amazing when you think about the people of America. There's and it's unfortunate that people like yourself don't get more publicity. We get the idiots that make the news, that the illegals that come in and mess with the police officers and the protesters for whatever, and those that you get that coverage all day in the news. And somebody like yourself who stood up and said, something, I'm a citizen and I can make a difference. And every one of us, can you imagine if we had 300 million people like Bill that are out there, just going out there and just want to make a difference, in a positive way. We've got some that want to make a difference in a negative way, but in a positive way. And, it's wonderful having somebody like yourself and your wife that just want to make that change and just take action. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, for sure, it would be an awesome place. It'd be a better world. But it's not the reality, right? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of late nights, as Rick can attest to. It's tough. It's a thing of passion. Well, I think that's why we called it the Nation of Patriots, though. One of the coolest parts of my job as the CEO slash founder is that I get to see many, many, many more hundreds of people, as you said, just like myself, Rick being one of them. I'm surrounded by a team of Ricks. And there's so many people out there like us that don't get the publicity, but we get to see them. And I think that's what gives me so much hope and belief in the United States as itself. There's strength out there. It's just unfortunately isn't in the news cycle, but it's there. I can tell you that right now. It's there.
Interesting. I want to get before. Don't go away, Bill. I don't want us to miss the best story ever that Rick started to tell us in the last segment before I cut him off.
Oh boy.
Go ahead, Rick.
Real quick, we had we just started really picking up speed in California, and we had a veteran whose sister was in a hospital bed, potentially dying. And he could not afford to go in from Marietta every day to stay there. Well, we worked with the hospital, and I actually have a picture of us bedside with the sister and the veteran. Otherwise, he may not have been with her during her toughest time. Um, a little unusual because it's nothing tangible for the family, but it gave that veteran the emotional support and the wherewithal to deal with a family crisis that he normally would not be able to assist with. That was huge to me. And
Sure.
I met him, shook his hand. He invited us to take the picture, which just
Gives you chills.
yeah, it really does. And there's tons of stories like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's some of the best things that we see with some of these organizations. I'm thrilled that I'm allowed to have the opportunity of having folks like yourself come on and share some of these things, because there are so many great people out there that are doing things. And Bill, you're right. I guess that's probably the compensation that you get is, being able to meet all the people that are taking that time and putting forth that effort. And when you think about it, I mean, you'll think that Rick just shared $5 a person.
$5 a person. That's what we ask. Now, there's many people who reach in and will hand us a 10, a 20, a 50. We've had hundreds because that's how much they love this country and they want to take care of our veterans.
How does Bill, how can somebody help if they're listening to us right now? How can they help?
Oh, in so many ways. I'm sure you guys discussed it already, but we are all volunteer force. Nobody gets a paycheck here, so we take help of all kinds. If you want to donate, 100% of your donation goes straight to the cause, and you can do that online, www.nationofpatriots.org. You can either donate online. We have address where you can go deposit a check. So we make the experience as easy as possible, of course. But we need people. We run an operation of about 200 plus volunteers. A good friend of mine and one of the board of directors here at the Nation of Patriots calls it herding cats in a thunderstorm. We make it work, but we could always use more help. There's so many things that we can do, or things that we want to do that we just can't get to because we just don't have enough bodies.
So it's nationofpatriots.org is where we can go and make sure you help out. I mean, it's again, I kind of feel like a honk sometimes on organizations, but I don't care. It's my show. I get to do that kind of stuff. Is just asking, and it doesn't, to me, as long as you're helping somebody, that's the beauty of it, is give back a little, give something to the next person. And Nation of Patriots looks to me like a great organization. If you're platinum on Charity Navigator, that says that people smarter than me have done some due diligence. Donate money, buy the merchandise, go on the, well, I'm not a motorcycle rider, but go on the ride. And
you can be.
You don't have to be.
You can be in a car. We've even had a bicycle.
Yeah.
If I can't get on a motorcycle, you're not going to get me on a bicycle either. I'm just throwing that out there for you. But we're going to have all the information at ronsiegelradio.com. If you miss any part of the broadcast, we're going to have all of that there. And we've also, one of the nice things about what we do here is we're able to put business and organization together. And if you are one of the people that have been served by Nation of Patriots and you're needing a job, we just had somebody on last week that has a need to train about 1 million people. So
wow.
Maybe some of those folks want to work with him, and they get certifications to be in the medical industry. So that's good wages, especially in California as minimum wage goes up here. So give us a call again. Putting people together, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
And then obviously, that our friends over at Geneva Financial love our Patriots. Our team is the #1 team with Homes for Heroes. So get a job, get a home, and we got all kinds of discounts for that as well. But go out there and see how you can help the Nation of Patriots. Again, we just I think Josh put their website on the screen, nationofpatriots.org, nationofpatriots.org.